Welcome to SOS Inventory. My name is Yvette Houston, and I will be providing an overview of the SOS Inventory application. SOS Inventory is an inventory, order management, and manufacturing app that is dedicated to QuickBooks Online. We have been in operation since April of 2009, and we are one of the highest rated apps on the Intuit App Center. We pride ourselves on providing outstanding support to our customers. We provide both email and phone support. Some of our features include assemblies, where we're able to take raw material and convert that to a finished good, barcode scanning, custom fields. Some of our newer features include automated order processing, along with the customer portal. And also our newest integration points, you'll see our Shopify integration along with the ShipStation integration. This is just a few of the features listed here that you'll see in the application today. Let's go ahead and go over to the actual desktop. So SOS Inventory has a seamless integration with QuickBooks Online. So once the accounts are connected, you will see that there is a bidirectional sync between QuickBooks and SOS. During that initial synchronization, all of the inventory, customers, vendors, sales tax center, chart of accounts, all of the data that is in QuickBooks will sync over and populate into the SOS application. Once that sync is completed, you will be brought here to the SOS Inventory homepage. Here on the homepage, you'll see that you will have a message center. This is where we populate any communications that we want to keep you guys aware of as users. But before you start using the system, you want to come over and you'll see there's a gear that is located here in the toolbar. In the gears where you will go to set up your initial settings. So you will see that you have settings for purchasing, inventory, and sales, just to name a few. This is where you're going to go in and set up your purchase order numbers, your inventory numbers to be able to transfer inventory back and forth and do adjustments, any of your sales settings, so your starting sales order numbers, invoice numbers, estimates, any of those initial settings that you would go here to do your initial setup. Also, you'll see if you're using the barcode capabilities, you would go in and define your barcode settings and formatting. Along with the customer portal, you can initiate and activate your customer portal. And you see you also have the integration points here where you would go in and set up and put in the preferred information in order to integrate your PayPal, Shopify, or ShipStation accounts along with your UPS setup. Once all of the initial settings are completed, the next thing that you would want to do is come over here to the toolbar and set up your user interface or your user settings. So this will be all of the information for your specific sign-on credentials. After that, you will see that you will have what we call the Company Administration tab or the Company tab. Under the Company tab is where you will go and you will see that you can import data by using our Import Data tool. Our bulk edit functionality allows you to make mass changes to data or information that needs to be corrected or updated as needed. And once those changes are completed, you can save the changes and upload the information back into SOS. You'll also see here under the Administration tab, we have the Company Settings, where you go in and upload your logo, set up your default time zone and your default currencies. Under the User Administration tab is where you will go in and add any new users who you would like to have access to the application. Also here under the User Administration, you can also assign and give specific privileges to allow users to have special access or limit their access based on how their profiles are set up. You will also find an activity log that shows you all the activity that's happened for the entire life of the account. So you can see at any given time who's logged into the account and what transactions that they did. And last but not least, here under Administration is the Account Info. This is where you will find your account number, along with being able to update your payment information. And if you choose to upgrade or downgrade your account at any time, you can do so that here under the Account Info link. Over here under the miscellaneous, you'll see that there are several configuration points that you can set up here within the system. Just to name a few, we can set up alerts. So we can receive alerts if we run low on inventory. We can receive alerts if we have upcoming sales orders due, work orders that are due. And those alerts can be sent to us via text message or via email. The AOP rules is our newer feature that I mentioned. It's the automated order processing. This will allow us to set up specific rules here within the SOS, and based off of the rules that are defined, this will initiate the next transaction to happen based off of the initial transaction. So an example for that would be, if a sales order is created, what is the next thing that we want to happen? We could immediately create a shipment. So therefore, it eliminates us having to manually initiate the next transaction. Once the rules are defined, it will automatically happen for you. We can create custom fields if we want to capture any specific data points and assign those fields to a specific form that you'll see here in the system. If you're tracking inventory in multiple locations, you can define your different locations here. And then once the locations are defined, it will allow us to transfer inventory back and forth. We have the ability to track different sales reps and assign a commission rate for each sales rep. And also with the customer portal, we can set up the different order stages. So once the order stages are defined, we can move our order from stage to stage. So as the customer is signing onto the portal, they can see exactly in what stage their shipment or order is at. And this can be very creative and limited only by your imagination. As far as order pending, shipping payment, or processing payment, those are some of the different order stages that you can define that your clients will see when they do sign on to the customer portal. Moving on along, you'll see another bank of configuration points. This is for our Plus plan. So we have the ability to do bin tracking. We can create price tiers, units of measure, along with the vendor item catalog. Also in our Pro plan, we can do process templates along with work centers and setting up the workers. So again, a lot of different configuration points that you see here within the application. So once we've done our settings, the initial settings, and then once we've set up all of our configuration points, we're now ready to run transactions. And when we are initiating transactions, we can initiate them here from the top of the toolbar, or I can use it from the left navigation screen. I'm going to work here from the left side of the screen. Here under the Inventory tab, you will see a list of all of your inventory items. These are the items that synced over during your initial synchronization from QuickBooks Online. And if you weren't tracking inventory in the past and you just imported your items directly into SOS, those items will also be shown here under the items list. This items list can be exported out via Excel or PDF file. We can do a quick search of the list. We can filter and do batch items as well. We can choose how our screen is displayed by going here to the gear and select which fields we like to be displayed. If we need to add a new item, we could go here to add new item, and it will allow us to add all of the information for your items. However, if you have several items, you would want to go here and use the bulk edit functionality to add multiple items at one time. But if you have just a few, you could go here to add them one at a time. Also here under the Inventory tab, you'll see the ability to go in and create adjustments, do transfers between locations, manage your serial inventory along with your lot numbers. Under the Production tab is where you'll have the ability to record your bills. If you're doing assemblies and taking raw material and converting that to a finished good, this is where that would be recorded. If you're doing process transactions where you're taking one item and you're having multiple outputs, that's where this is here where you'll go in to record your process transactions. On our Pro plan, we support jobs and work orders, so these will be managed here as well under the Production tab. Now let's take a look at the purchasing. We can create purchase orders here within the SOS application. You'll see a list of your vendors that would have synced over during the initial synchronization. You can add new vendors here, and they will update in QuickBooks Online as well. You can create your new purchase orders, and once those purchase orders are created, we can receive against those purchase orders, which will allow us to then add items to inventory. And the really nice thing about SOS, we support partial shipping and partial receiving of items. So if I order something and I only receive 10 of the 20 that I ordered, that purchase order will remain open, and so the rest of those items are delivered. Once all of the items of a PO or purchase order has been received, then at that point, that purchase order will automatically close. If there are any outstanding items that are due, that purchase order will remain open and show that you still have some that are outstanding. Okay. Also, once the purchasing tab, you'll see that you have the ability to do returns to vendors. This will be used in a situation if you have received something from a vendor that you need to return. You can use this functionality here to create the return back to the vendor. So we've talked about inventory, we've talked about production, and we've talked about purchasing. Let's take a look at the sales. Under the sales tab, you'll see a list for your customers. Those customers did sync over during the initial sync. If you add new customers here, it will sync over to QuickBooks Online and vice versa. We can create estimates, and those estimates can be emailed out to your client. And if the customer accepts, you can accept that estimate, and then you can convert that estimate into a sales order. And speaking of sales orders, we can create a sales order as a standalone as well. And speaking of sales orders, again, your sales order is the hub transaction to a lot of the transactions here within SOS. And I say that because in a sales order, once a sales order is generated, there's so many different workflows that you can do from your sales order. So I can create a new sales order by going here to the Add New screen. It will allow me to generate a new sales order. Once that sales order is created, it will show as an open sales order. And if you notice here on this arrow that I selected, it expands a whole other menu that allows me to do so many different workflows here from the sales order. The typical work order within SOS would be create your sales order. Once your sales order is created, you will do your shipment. The shipment is what will relieve items from inventory and update your inventory stock levels. Also, when the shipment is created, we will send back a journal entry to QuickBooks Online to update your inventory in your COGS account. Again, we do support partial shipping of an item. So if a sales order has 10 items, but we only have 2, we can ship out those 2 items until the rest of the items are available for us to ship out. Before you create your shipment, if you choose to use pick tickets, you can create your pick tickets before you process your shipments. Now, once the shipment's created, it will show here and captured and recorded that the shipment's created. And then after shipment's done, the next thing you would want to do is create your invoice. And notice again, I'm doing that all here directly from the SOS, from the sales order here within SOS. So again, the workflow, create your sales order. From your sales order, create your shipment. The shipment is what updates your inventory. And then once the shipment's completed, you will come back to the sales order and create your invoice. And notice the invoice will be logged as well. Once invoice and shipment is completed, the system will automatically close out your sales order. For any reason, if you need to create a return, if you ever have returns that you process, you can create your return directly here from the sales order. And you can also create an RMA, which is your return merchandise authorization, before you complete the return. And the RMA basically tells you that you are accepting a return that is coming in from your customer. And that way you will know what to expect to be delivered back to the warehouse. And once that item is received back in your warehouse, you can go to that RMA and then complete your return from your RMA. And when completing an RMA, this will allow you to go in and give the customer a credit memo, or you can send them a replacement item, whichever you choose. Also here under the More Transactions, you'll see you have the ability to create rentals. We do have the ability to track rental inventory as well. And when we are creating a rental, we'll see a list of the customers who have the items out for rent. And when those items are returned, we will create a rental return, which will bring that item back into our inventory. And then it will allow us to create an invoice to invoice the customer for the item that they just rented. And this functionality again would be found under the More Transactions. Now we do have the ability to create standalone transactions such as a standalone pink ticket or a standalone shipment, and that will be found here under the fulfillment screen. However, going from the sales order, because it does give you the ability to do several transactions, you can do all of that again directly from the sales order. But if I choose to create a standalone invoice, I can do that here as well. Your sales receipt is going to be used in a situation where it is more of a retail standing, or if it's a situation where you are accepting payment on the spot and you're giving the customer their product or item on the spot. Whereas with the sales order, you're taking an order and you're invoicing for that order to the client. Now with all the transactions that you've seen here today, we've looked at sales, we've looked at inventory, we've looked at production and purchasing. We do have reports that are available for all of those features that you've seen. So we have the ability to create a backorder report along with a reorder report. We also have an inventory stock status and inventory valuation report along with some of the other reports that you see listed here. Now for any reason, if there's not a report here that you're needing, you can always create your own customized report by going to the Export Data tool, and this will allow you to create your own customized report. You can filter out what you don't want, keep what you need, and now you have your own specific report. And last but not least, we do have the quick links here. This is where you can create yourself a to-do list, set up the different alerts. And here at the top, you'll see you'll have a calendar. This calendar will give you a list of all of your tasks if you've created yourself a task list. And you can select what you wish to be populated on your calendar. So if you're responsible for all of the sales orders or all of the shipments, you can choose to enable what is you would like to show based off of your selections here. And pretty much the same thing here for the dashboard. The dashboard is giving you an overview of the work that you have in your pipeline. So if I am responsible for any open work orders, I can select to show me only the open work orders. So therefore, as work orders are being generated and they're being sent over to me, I'll know what I need to get to work on to make sure that these work orders are fulfilled. So these are some great additional tools that you can use that will help you as you're using the application. And speaking of tools, here under the Help menu, you will also see at your fingertips, you have a copy of the user guides along with our tutorial videos and our how-to guides. And if you ever need to reach out for any questions, you can contact us directly here as well. And we also welcome any feature requests that you would like to share with us by sending that directly to us here within the application itself. That is all that I would like to share with you as far as the features and functionalities of SOS. I thank you so very much for your time today. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out by calling us at 1-888-545-4146. Press option 1 for sales, option 2 for support, or you can just email us at support@sosinventory.com and we'll be able to answer any questions that you have. And don't forget to visit our website at sosinventory.com, and you'll see that you have all of these additional tools here available at your fingertips, along with starting a free trial as well. Thank you so much for looking at SOS, and we look forward to working with you.